It used to strike me as disingenuous when people would talk about saving the world or solving any of our problems individually, that they would instantly start talking about how much money you had to give them to make it happen. Now, that is a very logical and understandable viewpoint in our modern society, because we can not only see around us in our day-to-day lives the amount of scams, the amount of money grabs, the amount of what looked like good intentions and good ideas being used for straight up evil, and just taking money from good people, well-meaning people who are actually trying to solve something, and those who also donate money to charity, who give of their wealth to organizations and foundations aimed at fixing this or solving that, or pitching a tent in the desert to build a well and make life easier for a simple community. Whether you're talking about the starving children in Africa, or you're talking about the horrible conditions of drinking water in some parts of the United States, and by far exceeding the amount of problems we have here elsewhere in the world, it always came down to money. People always needed a little bit more. And we've been hearing prominent figures poke fun at this and make light of it, as though it was just the simple human way. It's always been that way. It's going to remain this way as far and long as there are human beings. But what's interesting about our conversation tonight is that it doesn't have to end there. I now understand, as opposed to when I felt that this was disingenuous, that the message and the truth of us needing money to solve our problems is true. It's true because in order to have resources, we need to use what we have assigned their value to purchase them. And that's food. That's clean drinking water. That is sustainable energy. That is education, that's communication and information access, no matter where you are in the world. The reason why things cost money, whether they're a given, whether they're necessities for our survival, or things we just want, or luxuries, everything has a monetary value because we have mathematically assigned the usefulness of resources and human effort with money. The problem is somewhere in that chain, where we need money to make these things happen, but if you just give your money to people, you're counting on them to do what they say they were going to do with that money, and that is what never happens. Don't get me wrong, I'm not labeling every single charitable organization in the world as a sham, but it's pretty obvious to me that at the very least there are hundreds of millions of dollars flowing into philanthropy and charitable giving every year, whether that be from the goodness of someone's heart or from a standpoint of benefit when it comes to taxation. People give of their material wealth to a cause that's supposed to better the world nearly constantly. I would say that at every moment of a fiscal year, there's somebody dumping a few dollars or a few $1 million to be able to get that back later on down the line. When nobody does anything with that money and it just sort of disappears, that's where this problem with the genuine aspect of helping the world, of solving its problems, starts to arise. Now, I'd love to say that it took me years, that it took me half of my life to figure out how to make the money to buy all the resources people need to have their foundation set in life, to give them the best possible chance to be creative and productive and make a difference for the future of our species. But it didn't. It took me a couple weeks. And all it took was the very human emotion of jealousy to set these wheels in motion. I have worked very hard over many years to sustain myself, to make myself happy. And in the last few years, I've worked just as hard, if not harder, to provide for a fiance, to provide for children, and to give them the tools to be good human beings and make good decisions and make a positive impact on the world. And that, at its base, is the greatest aspiration of human beings if their intentions are good. I, like anybody else, would love to be wealthy and live in luxury and have to do absolutely nothing to maintain that lifestyle. But what may be unique to me is that I can't do that unless everybody else at least has a chance to live a sustainable, healthy life. A good life, a life worth living. To make the time we exist and are aware of our place in existence as comfortable and as productive as possible. And, unsurprisingly, I need your help. But, surprisingly, this isn't where I ask you for your money. And this isn't where I ask you for your sweat and your toil. I'm asking you to solve the world's problems together with me, here in the year 2016 and not a moment later, because we have the capability. We can do it for no cost. I will prove to you in the next 8 minutes and 32 seconds that generating the money needs no investment and needs no charitable giving. All it takes is time and things that we do already on a daily basis, whether we do it ambiently or actively, whether we are watching videos about games, whether we're listening to music, whether we're dabbling in conspiracy, whether we're just sharing an existential moment with each other and making memories. No matter where you are in the globe, we are connected. And that's through social media. That's through YouTube. Some interesting numbers for you. The cost to begin a YouTube channel is $0. The cost to publish 10 videos a day, 1 minute apiece, is $0. $0 per video for a total cost so far of zilch. Now, what I can do is enable the monetization that YouTube allows us to pay out the maximum by tacking on ads on the front and back of each one of these 10 videos, and banner ads and scrolling ads all throughout the video. And I don't expect the maximum possible value in terms of monetary power per video right at the start. I'm going to ask for $2.15, which is right in the median of the scale YouTube offers after AdSense and Google take their cut. And YouTube Red users who take away the chance for us to make money through advertising, I can still win by sheer volume in the share of watched time on a daily basis as far as YouTube is concerned. And if I ask for $2.15 per 1,000 views, and I put up 10 videos a day, and I can get 500 million people each day to come to my channel and watch these videos, endure the ads, and spend those 10 minutes that I've provided in film with me in one day, that's 5 billion views. And that's $10,750,000 made in a single day at the median value. Now, that is chump change compared to what we are truly capable of if we all come together in one spot. But that's nothing to shake a stick at. How many rents could I pay for a year with that money made in a single day? How many grocery carts with a month's worth of food and amenities for a family of 4 could I buy with $10,750,000? How many wells could I build in Africa to sustain communities with clean drinking water for 20 years? How many mosquito nets could I purchase for these same communities to stop the spread of disease via mosquito? Well, each of those has a number. It's $173 per week to feed a family of 4 moderately. That is not the bare minimum. That is pretty good for $692 a month. That's 15,534 families that had nothing yesterday and today have a month's worth of food. That's $692 they can put aside because I gave them 1 month to try and make it ahead. For $10.75 million, I could build 2,000 wells in Africa to sustain 250 people with clean drinking water for 20 years apiece. For those, by whatever means, find themselves without a roof over their heads, whether it be the fault of their own decisions, their own financial irresponsibility, the acts of others, or the misfortune that falls on so many people in today's age, in the modern world. Well, let me tell you something. The average cost of a one-bedroom apartment in the United States is $1,173. And in 1 day's profit for 5 billion views, I can pay the monthly rent of 9,164 people. How incredible is that? And again, I remind you, where did that come from? What did we have to do? How many people had to bleed and sweat? How many people had to dig into their pockets for whatever they could spare to help the less fortunate? Absolutely none. We made this money out of nowhere by providing a resource that we as a commercial and business-driven species have made viable. Advertising, communication, a hub where one's message can be heard, and the volume of people that hear that message is what determines the worth of that time. And we can single-handedly create a forum that exceeds by leaps and bounds the value of time for sports events and social events and debates, those things that draw multiple millions of viewers, a huge audience by any regards. But I seek to harness a more powerful source. YouTube has a monthly active audience of 1.44 billion individuals. And they claim about 4 billion views every day. So 5 billion views being the median value and $2.15 per thousand views being the median value, we can make an incredible impact on communities and lives all over the world every day. With myself at the helm, I will eliminate the aspects that have made this ideal, the quest to solve the world's problems. I will throw out what naturally comes next in this story, where people listened, people got jazzed up, people got fired up and passionate, and they thought to themselves, this is it. This is truly the time where we make a difference. And then somehow, some way, the greed of human beings prevailed. And I failed everyone. That I said, by doing this, we can make a true difference. We can solve these problems together. And I will be the single point of responsibility. And I will take this money in and I will send it directly out to the people that need it. And then had to answer for why I spent it all and embezzled it all and frittered it all away. As people continue to starve and die of starvation and die of dehydration and die of malnutrition. Die of disease that is preventable. Die because they lack the education to know the healthy ways to live one's life. I leave you with a truly powerful thought and a set of numbers. The United Nations estimates that today, the cost on a yearly basis to feed every mouth, new and old, is $30 billion. If I can get the 1.44 billion people who watch YouTube to join me at one channel for 25 one-minute videos each day, every day for 365 days, at $3 per thousand views, we've made 39 billion. That's it. No effort, no sweat, no muss, no fuss, no BS. We made the money, we bought the resources, we fed the mouths. It's game over. Let's do it.